Now, call me crazy, but hear me out. Maybe putting someone with the mentality of a toddler in charge of, distributing supplies and other important things might not have been the smartest thing to do, even if you were low on manpower and said child has, the status of one of the 4 great generals. Sure, throwing her in combat or anything that doesn't require too much critical thinking, go for it. But I mean, honestly, before Leo was able to, get her to understand the value of teamwork, I guarantee you there was someone in that area, whether it was a goblin, one of the bird-like creatures we saw, I feel like any one of them probably would have made a better leader up until, it's obviously everything that happened with the kind of character development of her understanding the value of teamwork. It's hilarious. It was a very entertaining episode. But it's hard not to be like, goddamn, you must really be in the shitter if this is the best we got. Because, seriously, I think Lily is a fun addition to the show. And I think Leo himself learned a valuable lesson that, he thought he had to teach her a lesson by, having her experience and come to the conclusion herself. But if he would have just said something from the beginning, she probably would have took it to heart. I mean, a stranger who she thought was just by the cliffside taught her the value of teamwork. Had Leo himself just sat her down and said, hey, we need to have a talk for a minute, even though she's always rambunctious and things like that, she probably would have listened right then and there. But I think it did provide a valuable lesson for both of the characters that maybe Leo thought that he needs to outplay people, rather he might be able to just have a conversation. Sure, depending on who he's interacting with, he might need to dumb down the conversation, but still, it was a valuable lesson for both of them. But I mean, seriously, I can't help but think there was a general minion who would have done a far better job up until that point. I mean, just seeing what her idea was, the fact that everyone's gonna have fun, that's her main idea for a mission. And the fact that they have this portal that goes to this one area that's connected to their castle, right? So this area that is actually loyal to you, you could transport a shit ton of supplies. And it's actually, I mean, even without seeing the plan Leo in his head came up with, I was like, oh shit, if you don't just work everyone to the bone, because she likes to have a race to see who can get the supplies there fastest, you'd be able to micromanage everything and probably do it. My idea was within less than a week, but he said a couple of days. I was like, well shit, that's even better than I was thinking. And just to see the elaborate scheme, because in any other person's hands, they would have had to turn around and go for help, almost immediately. The first test he has is this boulder that he enchants, so nothing should be able to break through it. So you're gonna have to go back and say, hey, there's this boulder I can't break, and most likely a mage of some sort will debuff the spell or something. But no, she's so headstrong that she breaks it. Or the slime, which I thought was hilarious because, you probably would need to either freeze the slime or you need to have someone who was very keen and very fast. Nah, she can find the little slime that dissolves all of them. Just seeing the way this little girl outplayed arguably the strongest and smartest character that this show has to offer was hilarious, because I think he was beaten in a very believable way. Look at any parents in the world, whether they're good, whether they're bad, whether they're the best parents in the world. A toddler can outflank anyone because of the annoyance, the curveballs that they will throw, because, I mean, seriously, no one in their right mind would continue to headbutt a boulder that clearly can't be broken. And because of that, no one thinks it's possible to break a boulder that shouldn't be able to be broken. But someone with the mentality of a 6-year-old clearly doesn't have that critical thinking and would kill themselves before ever stopping. Had that boulder not broke at all, she would have had brain damage. Seriously, it's just, I love how we basically felt like the side parent in this episode. Leo is the father trying to navigate this hellscape, and we're just the disappointed other parent just kind of sitting there can you please deal with this, because I don't want to. I do like the formula that they're clearly setting up with I'm Quitting Heroing. Basically, with last week, of course, we got one of the 4. This week, we got another one. And then most likely with the next couple of episodes, we'll have a similar setting where Leo has to help the others, though they did leave a cliffhanger of him needing to meet up with the Demon Lord. I suspect what's going to happen is the Demon Lord's going to have some suspicions that it is Leo, if not fully convinced it is. But she's not going to reveal to him that she knows, and will probably put on an act that she just, she's fine, because so far with what's been happening, the army has been getting straightened around. So I don't think she's going to want to toss him on his ass, especially given in this same episode they talk about how he literally held back in the battle which is why they didn't suffer any casualties on the higher level, right? So I think she very much is going to realize like something's awry, but she's not going to reveal to him, she's not going to play her hand until she needs to, sort of a thing. So I think they will continue on the formula that the past couple of episodes have done, where it's, okay, we're going to have an episode dedicated to each of one of the four, and then probably around the episode 6 mark, that's probably when his identity, I would imagine anyway, would be revealed to the Demon Lord, and then maybe they'll transition into a more arc-based format. Hard to say, but I think in terms of just kind of like the epilogue of what should be an epilogue anyway to most stories, you know, the aftermath, the rebuilding, it should be boring, but because of the personalities and the shit that Leo can get up into, I mean, from last week to this week, it's hard not to have a grin on your face watching the antics and just the cool shit that goes on. I mean, not many stories can say you're going to summon a poisonous snake that's going to kill you within hours' time just to get a little girl to try to learn the value of teamwork as you simultaneously heal yourself in a matter of minutes. But goddamn, I'm Quitting Heroing doesn't play by the traditional rules, and that's what makes it pretty damn fun. I will say though, as much as, you know, Lily is she is a toddler, like, there's no arguing that in terms of how she acts. I do love her voice acting and her, like, diagrams, the things she draws in order to explain her plans. Like, that's, like, just what would be hung up on a fridge, right? You know, you're not, like, actually proud of it. You look at it and you say, that's not a good drawing. But you're not going to hurt the girl's feelings because she obviously gave it her all, so we're going to hang it up and act like it's the Mona Lisa. I just love how this show knows what it's doing with all these different characters, and that's why I'm really excited to see the other two really get their time to shine, most likely after the Demon Lord confrontation, or maybe they'll completely shift up the formula as we've come to know. Really hard to say, but this show has been thoroughly enjoyable. Loved episode 1, episode 2 sold me even more, and episode 3 just continues on a pretty good trend in my opinion. I mean, this is one of those shows that I really feel like has figured out what it wants to be sooner rather than later. Like I've mentioned, I think episode 1 had a bit of a tonal issue because it did have to balance more dark and more comfy because it was kind of two different stories kind of meshed into one. But I think episodes 2 and 3 really have found its groove. It's silly, it's lighthearted, but you know it can be dark and menacing as well, right? But right now, with where we're at, just kind of rebuilding, no one's in life or death moments right now, nor do we have a character who just came off of being banished from the people he just saved. So in doing so, you can have a lot more comfy fun without having full-on migraines, even if Leo himself is having them, given the babysitting duties and everything else that kind of comes with the job of just trying to prove yourself. And it's going to be fun. It's going to be really fun for sure. I'm interested to see if, you know, there's going to be anything sooner rather than later that will require action, because I kind of feel like that one guy who reminds me of Ryder from Fate Zero, I feel like if anything's going to have action in the coming episodes, it's got to be him. But then again, maybe the Demon Lord will challenge the Black Knight Onyx to a duel or something. Either way, I'm hoping to see some action in the coming episodes just because the magic system is pretty cool in this one. Thoughts if you have any on I'm Quitting Heroing episode 3. Do you love it? Do you hate it? What do you think? Gonna keep on watching it given that we are in 3 episodes now? Some people do follow that 3 episode rule, so let me know what you're feeling down below. Leave a like if you enjoyed and subscribe if you're new around here. Till next time, everyone, please take care and have a good one.